All right, cool. Fantastic. Well, today is a beautiful day. Good morning, entrepreneurs from wherever you are in the world. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you exactly who I am. My name is John Lobella. I'm actually an entrepreneur and based out of South Africa. I've been living here for the past 18 years now. Okay, and I'm pretty excited about my journey as an entrepreneur that has made me to be the person I am today. It's been about 15 years that I ventured in this particular field as an entrepreneur. All right, so I first of all came in this country for me to study, and I did my information and communication technology studies, and I graduated where I typically focused on the software development aspect of things. Okay, so literally, I am a software engineer at heart, so I love solving business problems, and essentially, that's the one thing that's gotten me in the world of tech as a tech entrepreneur and multiple other things that you guys will be able to learn about me as we grow over time together. Okay, so there's a particular reason why I'm currently doing this video. It is not only to really talk about me, but to talk about you, the entrepreneur. I know exactly what, especially what I live in right now in Johannesburg, I know exactly what the entrepreneurial landscape is all about. And I know exactly how the South African government is working so hard in putting things together to be able to help the SME as well as the entrepreneurs. I know the journey about multiple other entrepreneurs that I've had the privilege to be able to meet personally and engage with, and we talk, we discuss exactly about what we can do as a collective of black entrepreneurs to help stimulate the economy for that particular sector. Okay, so it is very challenging, but trust me, the rewards will ultimately be amazing for all of you guys. So my presence on social media is pretty much for me to engage with like-minded individuals, entrepreneurs, young kids, everybody else who's really looking forward to engaging people who are looking to raise capital, because I've been there and I know exactly how hard it is for entrepreneurs in South Africa to being able to get access to funding. But it is to also educate, okay, to kind of share the knowledge from me as a hardcore entrepreneur who has kind of experienced all the cycles of being an entrepreneur, going up and going down and losing everything and eventually focusing again and sort of focusing on your branding and reworking on the things you believe in, right? That's the reason why I'm on social media. I'm not on social media for me to showcase my lifestyle, or although perhaps 20% of that will be exuded as part of my social media pages, okay, be it on Instagram or on Facebook, but it is more about to share the knowledge, to share the experience, the expertise that I have as an entrepreneur. Having established businesses with no funding, coming from a different country. I am originally from the DRC, so I speak French. But being then established in what I believe is a beautiful country, okay? And also having been exposed to issues of xenophobia, although that alone is something that I do believe is more of a political agenda than anything else. I am, first of all, an African, but I also believe that I'm a global citizen, especially because of what I am doing currently. For me, entrepreneurship is not a job. It's more than just a job. It is a lifestyle for me. It is a mission. Okay, and I'm so passionate and so excited about being an entrepreneur and the things I'm actually doing in this particular country, and also across the continent and the world. Okay. As a mission, I kind of find or look at myself as this priest, okay, or this preacher, and the landscape of entrepreneurship is my church, and entrepreneurs are my congregation. So essentially, when we gather, we are in a single room and we start talking exactly about the things that we are so passionate about. Those are definitely really quite exciting for me. And if you stick with me for the longer term, if you stick with me to really understand what I'm all about, you guys will reap the rewards over time, because not only will I bring to you the wealth of knowledge, but also the many entrepreneurs that I've met around the globe, from America to Europe to Canada, to Africa to Asia and so forth. Those are the people that I bring before before you so we can actually have meaningful conversations, right? So these conversations are all about educating us and establishing a landscape that would allow us to grow as a people, as an individual, or as an entrepreneur. The struggle we see in South Africa, particularly where I am living, I am based out of, is the notion that the SME sector is not fully supported, or is lacking the support from government, right? And essentially, what do we do as entrepreneurs? What do we do as individuals for us to be able to alleviate these issues? We see that the triple BEE, the triple BEE program has been actually implemented since 2007. I remember when Thabo Mbeki was president. But has that been quite effective over the years for the local entrepreneur, for the local market, for the SME? Has that been effective? Are you guys benefiting of this BEE thing that's going on? During this pandemic, the government released or issued out a memo whereby, in fact, the president talked about it, where he mentioned that 500 billion rand was going to be made available to alleviate as a COVID relief fund, right? The question is, have you guys been successful in getting access to those funds? What does it mean to you? What do you have to do? I mean, does it make sense that a government who is trying to help its people is still putting so many restrictions around a relief fund with the so-called ability or need, or to help the entrepreneurs, to help the SME market? Does it make sense? And we know that 70% or more, I don't have the exact stat, but 70% or more people in South Africa are unable to have access to funding, and yet there is a 500 billion relief package, 200 billion that would actually go to the SME. But of those SMEs, how many people are getting access to the funds? And of course, there's also the other element of triple BEE, whereby companies have to be compliant with that. What does that mean to you, the entrepreneur? What does it mean for the company, the entrepreneur, the non-white people, the non-South African as well, from other African, who are legitimately compliant with their businesses in South Africa, but may not necessarily be triple BEE compliant, but still are employing other South Africans and other black folks in South Africa? Does it mean that these people can have access to this funding, or is it quite restricted to only a certain category of people? Let me ask you this question. Do you think that the South African government is really literally on a journey with that particular fund relief package? Do you think that they are on a verge, on a journey to really change the narrative in this country? I'm asking you the question because together I would like for us to go on a journey and realize whether we can find these answers. But here's the thing with me. I'm an entrepreneur who truly believes in not focusing too much on politics. And for those of you who follow me, recently I've been posting quite a lot about entrepreneurs not having to focus on politics, right? And let me tell you why. Because as much as the political agenda or the policies, the regulation and so forth do affect our businesses, irrespective of the industry you're in, the most important thing is that if you are a struggling entrepreneur or a brand new entrepreneur or somebody who is in the growth stage and you are unable to establish financial freedom for yourself and your company, chances are it's going to be really, really difficult if you keep on focusing more on political agendas as opposed to focusing on building. So I do believe that entrepreneurs should not be focusing on politics. When I say not be focusing on politics, I mean that we should not become politicians. We should focus on our core calling as being entrepreneurs. And what are we trying to achieve as an entrepreneur? We're focusing on the agenda of solving problems. And because we're solving problems, we are contributing to stimulating the economy of this country. And once we get to a point whereby we are financially viable, we've got the resources to be able to have an ecosystem of entrepreneurs in the SME market that support our endeavors, our initiatives. Guess what? At that point only can we have a certain political influence, not to necessarily change the way government runs things, but to actually become government allies in working with them so they can actually support us as entrepreneurs and broaden our agenda across various regions. That's what I mean by you as an entrepreneur not focus on politics, okay? Because if you focus on politics too much early on, you're forgetting about your calling as an entrepreneur and what you have to achieve, okay? So for me, once again, and I repeat, entrepreneurs should not focus on politics. They should focus on doing what they are supposed to do, the one thing they love doing, and this is building, solving problems for your communities, whatever you find, for example, in rural areas, whatever you believe that the government is not helping you towards, how about we gather together as entrepreneurs and make that possible? That's the reason why I'm actually calling up on you guys, the entrepreneur, and refocus your thinking, refocus, rethink again, think strategically here, think exactly how you can become a government ally by solving problems, because in fact, government will be very much interested to helping you further if they know and they realize and they see that you are someone who's focusing on solving problems. But guess what? They will most likely not listen to you if you are all about asking for money, asking about government to do this, asking about government to help you do that. Well, we all know that government is there to help us achieve these goals. But what if it takes time? What if the government has got many other... Look, in fact, they have multiple agendas, right? There's COVID, there's the pandemic going on right now, there's the economic crisis, there's so many things. But what can you do as an entrepreneur right now? What can you do? Let me ask you a question. What would you do if you realize that the government is still unable to solve your problems? Government is unable to respond to you effectively. Does it mean that you need to stick around and just wait for government to come and help you in 5 years' time? I'm challenging you right now. I'm challenging you to think a little differently. I'm challenging you today to start thinking that you shouldn't focus on the political agenda, but you should actually focus on identifying what are the things within you that you can do as an entrepreneur for you to become successful, for you to help the community around you. And trust me, I am a firm believer of being able to solve problems, even if I don't have government backup. In fact, I've been in this country 18 years and I've been in business for about, I think, 13 years now. 2 years prior to that, I was more of a freelancer and things like that. But I've never had a single loan from any bank. I've built myself up from the ground up. I've made so many mistakes that I will be able to share with you along my journey. Okay, so many mistakes. The one fundamental thing I didn't know was I didn't understand what money was. I didn't understand what it meant to save and invest in businesses. I did not even understand what it meant to scale a business. But today, the fact that I've had other mentors who have helped me in my business, in my journey, in my personal career, my personal development, today I feel that I have enough knowledge for me to start sharing with you. And that's the reason why not only am I doing this video, but I have an entire team around me. My PR team and media team and video team and everybody else who believe in the agenda that we have for us to be able to respond to the entrepreneurial goals that I personally have. For me, this is a goal. This is a mission. It's a life purpose to be able to engage with other entrepreneurs, not only from South Africa, but also from my own country. I speak French, from my own country, to helping them realize that, you know what, if the government cannot help, we can make that change for ourselves. And the question is, how do we make that possible? So I do hope that at the end of this video or what I'm doing today, I'll be able to share quite a few tips to helping you understand where I'm coming from, but also how I do believe that with a collective effort of people like-minded, people who believe, people who are passionate about what they're doing, people who are looking to bring a change, that together we can make it happen. Okay, so that was enough as an introduction with regard to John Lobella, but also my entrepreneurial calling. And the one thing I want to talk to you guys about, for many of you who are listening to me and have been following me for quite a while, I focus a lot on blockchain technology, and I'll tell you why. The reason being, first of all, I'm a tech entrepreneur and I also have corporate investment banking with the Standard Bank Group. So I fell in love with the world of finance in 2011. So you can only imagine that me as an engineer, right, and now blending my knowledge around money, investing, and so forth, and being in the financial world, I do not necessarily have true financial education like all of you guys, or some of you guys will actually go on to actually attain a full degree. But my knowledge in finance can definitely challenge somebody who has been focusing entirely on being in the world of finance. Whatever they know, I can challenge their mind. I can challenge exactly everything they know, because guess what? The blockchain space has been able to teach me exactly that. So my blockchain journey starts from, I would say, 2012. 2012. So first of all, what happened? In 2012, I remember hearing the first word, Bitcoin. Okay, I had absolutely no cooking clue what the Bitcoin was all about, man. I didn't know. I didn't know a thing about what Bitcoin was all about. But for me, when I heard the word Bitcoin, immediately it kind of made sense. I mean, I'm a tech guy, and I was like, well, the zeros and ones, so it's only a digital currency, and it did not surprise me, because for me it was just another form of a digital currency, something that allows people to transact on the internet and exchange value, or you name it. I mean, at that time I was already using things like e-bucks. For me, e-bucks is more of a digital currency, backed by fiat currency. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, fiat is just your paper money currency. So those are the things. And then in 2013, I remember traveling to the US and being in a bank as well. In that time, I heard of the keyword blockchain, because the blockchain was fundamentally, or is fundamentally, the technology behind the whole Bitcoin thing. Okay, so and every single year, as in my business, my first company ever, JRB Solutions, right, my software development based company, every single year, I always wanted to understand, or at least learn a new piece of technology, right? The reason being, I either wanted to master, if it was a sexy technology or whatever, I wanted to understand it, I wanted to master it, and I wanted to make sure that I can either offer it as a service to my clients, to my customers, or I can do something with it, right? So the blockchain technology was one, but it wasn't until about 2014 that a lot of people started reaching out to me on LinkedIn. I remember 3 different people, right, from elderly grandmas in Cape Town to some young guys in Johannesburg and so forth. But you know why they reached out to me with that whole Bitcoin BS, if I can put it that way? It was because these guys were promoting MLM structures. I think they were promoting Lifestyle Galaxy, or no, they were promoting mining operations. So as they were promoting the so-called aspect of mining, it was even more confusing to me. Now imagine, I'm a tech guy who loves finance, and somebody talks to me about mining. And before that, I opened another business of mine called Innovex Mining Services. Mining services in a more traditional sense, whereby I wanted to offer services, in my community, in the DRC, and in Zambia, in Botswana, about people who wanted to get involved into mining services. So you can only imagine how confusing that was. Until this one guy, a friend of mine, Craig, he and I worked at MTN before, and he was also a software engineer. So what he did, he came to me and said, "Hey, champ, I'd love to talk to you about this mining thing and whatever, and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, dude, okay, you're the 3rd person who's coming to talk to me about this BS, man. Come on. How about we meet? We sit down, we have some coffee, and talk exactly about what this whole mining thing is all about. Because he was telling me, hey, you know what? No, if you do this, you're mining Bitcoin, and if the price is going to be... I was like, what on earth is this whole thing, and what is this guy talking about? I had absolutely no cooking idea about what this whole thing was all about. So, and I invited him and I said, okay, let's go and meet. We went to meet at, what was that? At Doppio Zero, okay? We met at Doppio Zero. And as we met at Doppio Zero, we discussed about, I think it was Doppio Zero Bel Air, yeah. We discussed about the whole mining thing. And trust me, after 1.5 hours, I still didn't understand what the hell was Bitcoin mining. And if another techie guy couldn't explain to me what mining Bitcoin was all about, imagine exactly you who is trying to get involved in this space, right? So I decided to take a closer look. And as I did decide to take a closer look, in 2015 I made it my mission to study fundamentally what the blockchain was all about. And boy, oh boy, I was so stunned. I was amazed and I was like, wow, this thing is in fact way more than money, beyond money. It blew my imagination. And immediately I fell in love with that piece of technology. But then think about it this way. I'm a tech guy, a bit of a finance background in corporate investment banking. And here I am tracing and learning about the blockchain technology. The one thing that fundamentally changed my whole perspective or perception of money and what Bitcoin was all about. So I started focusing more about what Bitcoin is and blockchain, and oh boy, I was so excited that I decided to not only buy every single book I knew I came across, and I bought some very, very cool books, some very interesting books, and I still have today, probably about 5 different books, from an investment perspective, from a technology perspective, from an understanding of Bitcoin, from learning how to invest, and all of these things. And I learned fundamentally a lot of things on the internet as well. But guess what? Because I'm a risk taker, I love taking risks as part of my entrepreneurial journey, I also decided to venture in this whole aspect of making money, right? So, and trust me, I've lost a lot of money, probably in hundreds of, over 300,000 Rand that I've lost investing in the so-called Bitcoin. Okay, and I still remember my biggest scam, I think, was in just over 75,000 Rand. That was in December 2018 when I was traveling to New York, and I lost $5,000. That was a lot of money. Okay, well, think about $5,000 today. And in fact, if I didn't lose to that guy, that $5,000 could have been $25,000 today. And I will tell you guys exactly about that. But I learned along the way, and eventually what I started doing, I started really focusing on that, and I started repurposing my social media presence because I fell in love with the blockchain space, fintech, investing, money. Everything became like a one package deal that I felt I wanted to engage with other entrepreneurs, and I wanted to help. But I had to go through my own MBA practice, right? So I spent about 3 years spending a lot of money around the world and traveling around the world and speaking on many stages as well. I mean, my first international speaking engagement, I think, was in Kuala Lumpur in August 2018, where I was invited to speak on blockchain on a conference called Blockonomics. So the whole blockchain thing there was, my topic was blockchain, a trust protocol for a new economy. So for those of you who want to learn about what I spoke about on that particular day, please go on my YouTube. I think it's the first video ever that I posted on YouTube talks exactly about my presentation in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. So it's a beautiful presentation, about 10 minutes, I think, or 15 minutes, that gives you a high level view because I break down the keyword trust in a matter that it's going to come in another video. We'll talk to you about that. But I break down trust in such a way, it's just beautiful, man. Like really, if you go there and focus on that particular video, 10 minutes, and share with everybody else that you feel or you think may want to know more about that, you will learn quite a lot. So since then, I've been invited to speak on multiple other places around the world, and that has given me the exposure that I've been looking for. All right, so that's my blockchain journey, and today I am. Yeah? Should I carry on? Okay, so we're going to do a cut on that. But today, let me carry on. Sure. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my third topic. This Friday, I'm very excited. I mean, some of you guys know that I launched a show, actually 2 shows, right? So it's happening twice a week. And this particular Friday, I'm going to talk about how can blockchain technology help the SMEs and entrepreneurs in Africa. So for this, I'm going to bring two guests, or probably one, but two guests. And these guys are entrepreneurs, really some of the clever entrepreneurs that I've met around the world, but they are out of Singapore and they love Africa, and they've built some platforms that have been tried and tested in Nigeria and Cameroon and with me as well. And I've met these guys. So I'm going to be bringing Rico and Duncan, who are also working on some very sexy project on the fintech space and blockchain. So they and I are, we love, not only do we love this space, but we're working on powerful platforms that we do believe are the starting point to providing solutions, especially when it comes to raising capital. Okay, so we're doing the thing that the government is supposed to be doing, but we want to show government how we do this thing, and eventually not only endorse our blockchain technology or the blockchain concept as a whole, but also start giving you a knowledge around what it means to have digital token or crypto asset and trading them and all that kind of stuff, and ultimately solving our own problems. In fact, I did meet a sheikh in Dubai one day who mentioned to me, hey John, you know what? I think that blockchain technology is the cure medicine for Africa. Well, I can talk at great length about why the blockchain technology is the cure medicine for Africa, right? But I'm not going to mention that right now. It will be for a topic into the future. So the fourth point that I want to talk about is on alternative investment. I am so fond of investment, guys. Okay, so I'm so fond of investment that I've dedicated my last 4 years or 5 years understanding what it means, what money means, saving and investing. And most importantly, in the space of blockchain technology. So when it comes to investing, this month of June, I'm kicking in something new, something called Invest for a Purpose. Invest for a Purpose is going to be an all-in challenge. It's going to be a challenge, right? So I'm looking to gather about 100 entrepreneurs. I don't care where you're from, whether you are from the DRC, you are from South Africa, you are from Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, whatever. I'm looking to gather about 100 entrepreneurs. It could be less, it could be more, but that's my target, more or less, plus minus 100 entrepreneurs. Why? Because my company, Cryptovecs Capital, is launching Cryptovecs Capital Ventures Fund. And as I launch this fund, we are investing for a purpose. And the all-in challenge is twofold. First of all, one, invest for a purpose, not only because you want to make your own money, okay? But secondly, because you also believe in what the blockchain technology can help us achieve. And those are the things we are focusing on right now. And more details on that are going to come through as we proceed. And my PR team is working on a few cool ideas, and we are going to make that known. So remember this one thing: investing for a purpose. I'm launching the all-in challenge in investing for a purpose as part of the Cryptovecs Capital Ventures Fund. So this is the fund that will help entrepreneurs. We are going to invest in businesses, Black-owned based businesses, and particularly those on the technology sector. Okay, so we'll figure out a few tech verticals, but everything that has a blockchain association to it, I'm all in. Okay, and that's exactly why I want to challenge you to invest for a purpose. And remember, as I challenge you to invest for a purpose, think of it this way: the returns on this particular fund are only going to start being distributed only 24 months after the funds has been implemented. So we want to focus on creating wealth. And again, I will make a specific dedicated video just for the invest for a purpose all-in challenge. But right now I'm announcing that Cryptovecs Capital, my other company, is going to launch a ventures fund dedicated to invest for a purpose. Okay, and I will challenge you guys, entrepreneurs. So guys who can invest a million rand, guys who can invest $500,000 rand, 250,000 rand, 100,000, 50,000 rand, and with a minimum of 10,000 rand are the guys who can engage with me on this particular journey, and more on this very, very soon. All right. And this fund is to help the SMEs and entrepreneurs across Africa. And I'll tell you exactly why. If Uber, Facebook, and all this company can can get a fund, and today they're listed and so forth. I want to challenge you guys, because we can do that as well, and I've learned exactly how we can do that, and I have a team of guys who can help us do that. Okay, so I challenge you guys, and please stay tuned for more on this particular one. And the other thing that I want to mention is the Redefine Your Hustle show. So this is a show that happens every single Monday at 7 p.m. Sometimes it could be 6 p.m. But every single Monday, we actually focus on the Redefine Your Hustle show, because what it does, I'm bringing in an entrepreneur who has succeeded, or who is in growth stage, or who actually even is starting out. Why? Because we want to focus on giving you enough insight, enough knowledge, enough excitement, so you too can learn from other entrepreneurs, and you can focus on growing your business as well. Okay, so out of those particular shows, people learn a lot. There's a lot of exchange, and people ask questions, and that's exactly what I want to mention to you as part of my Redefine Your Hustle show. And I also have another show on Friday where we talk everything about fintech and alternative investment and the blockchain technology and all that kind of stuff. So everything. Why? Because my goal is to help the SME and entrepreneurs across Africa. And of course, I'm going to focus on South Africa and the DRC, where I'm originally from and based out of, and the rest of the nation is going to follow up soon. The other announcement that I want to make, okay, before I close, the other announcement I want to make is that this specific month there is a masterclass coming up. So an entrepreneur's masterclass coming up in June. My PR team is currently putting all the information together. And once that is actually finalized, I think we'll mention that to you. So what are we going to do there? Initially, I'm going to kick off a free masterclass where I will choose about 10 entrepreneurs. So of course, we are going to go through a series of questions and giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So 10 entrepreneurs only will be selected, so you can be trained by me. And the idea is I want to share with you as passionately as I can in a 2 hours masterclass some key information to get you started, to get you excited, so we can actually start focusing on our long journey. My personal goal is to train and invest in 100 entrepreneurs. Okay, well, the two hours is not necessarily going to be a part of it, but on the entrepreneurs over the next 5 years. We want to succeed as entrepreneurs. We want to be able to make that change. And lastly, the one thing I want to mention to you as well is that there is a masterclass that I normally provide in 2 full days. But this masterclass is going to focus on trading and investing in digital assets. Of course, blockchain digital assets. And for those of you who want to learn more about that, stay tuned. My PR team, once again, my media team is going to release some amazing nuggets and insight. And I love you all. And guess what? I'm John Lombella, your entrepreneur, the one and only. And stay tuned. Share this message. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter. Because this month of June and beyond, you do not want to miss any information that we bring about, and also some of the giveaways that we actually bring forward. Okay, I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this because I want to bring a change in Africa, starting from South Africa. Keep well, peace. I love you guys. Bye.